Hello and welcome back, everyone. Today we are continuing our Crusader Kings 3 run playing as Ares, the immortal Lord of War, the demon who escaped from hell, the infernal Archduke himself. Last episode, we didn't peak in high school, now we're peaking. Last episode, we created this Empire of Babylon through the decision to do this, kind of re-establishing the old ways of the demons being, incarnate on Earth, being worshipped, and this sort of thing. I'm thinking we might revamp our religion a little bit. We do have the religion of wrath, but this is our singular sin focus, right? And surely, or perhaps, we'll be able to come up with a doctrine or a sort of religion that is maybe not just wrath, but the full 7 deadlies. But we also, in taking this, have managed to capture all the holy sites associated with our religion, which of course is fantastic, giving us very, very strong bonuses. Just kind of quickly cruising through, we're getting dread, we're getting stewardship and development growth over here, we are getting cultural fascination progress over here, and then over here we are getting development growth and cultural fascination progress, and finally intimidated vassals and terrified vassals contribution, which kind of pairs nicely with what we have in terms of demon stuff, because we have very high natural dread, and we are very frequently in this band between 85 and 100. We're looking at, you caught us on a low day here with 85 dread is what I'm saying here. And okay, so today we will begin, or we will continue a couple things. First of all, we're going to continue the decision tree, or we're at least going to try to continue the decision tree for the Book of Nod, where we are getting the chronicles that detail the history of the vampires, kind of one at a time. We do need to pick up Lilith's magic, and so we will be able to do some of that history, but also we're going to start working towards the primordial sin dragon decision, which requires that us to be sin, which of course we are, and to own a bunch of these territories, and so we will be trying to move in that direction here as well. But I think that maybe it's time for a reformation of our religion. So we left off last episode with a ton of titles to assign, and we are struggling a little bit with finding good people to assign them to. What we're doing now is we're kind of cruising through, and we're looking for people who have relatively high opinion of us that are not currently rulers, and are maybe going to be people that we can invite to our court, so that we can give them land. We see a lot of these people are actually going to be people that are, part of our kingdom, but people like Lamia, maybe we can invite them. Too close to her sire, that is her daddy. And then there's a lot of these, like Neith, which is kind of a member of our court, because this is one of our concubines. We don't really want to dole out something to her, and so we're just cruising through, looking for opportunities to find people who we maybe can convince to join our court, because they have high enough positive relations. It's a little bit rough though. Every one of these guys that we're noticing here are kind of some of the usual suspects here, where these are people who are in our court that we don't want to leave our court, and so we don't want to assign them. You can see everyone kind of hates our guts here as well, and so it's a little bit difficult, but we definitely want worthy people. Maybe we could, well, she's master at horse, but like, to be honest, we don't need her as master of horse anymore, so maybe we could appoint her something. So we have managed to convert Gothic, the Light Bearer, over to our cause. He is one of kind of the most powerful free agents, if you will. So let's take a look at his lore. One of the most powerful thaumaturgists in the world, Gothic was the man behind the ritual that turned the Tremere Inner Council into vampires. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Tremere are kind of artificial or synthetic vampires. I'm not 100% sure. He is also, well, actually, I don't remember what exactly the lore is here, or if they are a line that is kind of an offshoot, but they are the sciencey kind of science wizard dudes. He is also credited with the creation of the gargoyles. Ambitious, ruthless, but also charismatic and determined, the Magus was locked in a cold war with his rival Etrius for control of the clan Tremere's for the clan in Tremere's absence, Tremere being the antediluvian Tremere. A cold war he lost when Tremere awakened just long enough to exile Goatrix to France. Bitter at the idea, he still made good use of his new position establishing a small chantry in Rowan and a network of friends and allies. Some of those include the power couple of the kingdom, Selena and Joffrey. In the future canon, that is after, kind of this game, Gotrix's influence in France will grow until he's exiled for good and declares his Antitribu, becoming a founding father of the Sabbat. The prideful Tremere will then sacrifices himself, or be sacrificed depending on whom you ask, to permit the return of Tremere himself. So what we are going to do is we are going to grant him some titles up in this bizzle. We're going to give him Lombardia, which we need to conquer for part of our for the decision tree over here. As part of Primordial Sin Dragon, we have to conquer several areas. We are currently working on picking those up. We already picked up Isle of Man. We just now picked up Lombardia for there. And we wanted to give him kind of a nice little seat here where he would have an opportunity to expand. And so this is going to be good for him. We can disband these guys here. We'll need to move them elsewhere. But he will be able to kind of formulate a nice little kingdom for himself up here in the north, and he will have plenty of soft expansion spots here. So we're hoping he can do some good, and we're still looking for more people to kind of fill out some of these spots. We definitely need a little bit of help getting that through. Also, things are coming quite along quite well with our first legend. We are getting spread and promoted all over the place. The mighty endeavor for Namaru. We probably should have been working on this forever ago, but all those who promote this legend benefit from this integrity. That seems nice. And also saintly saintliness. Or saintly sinless. Sinless? Sinless? What do you mean sinless? Organized sin faith. Might need to go back to the drawing board on that one. Well, much like how we kind of wanted things to roll out where our subjects were declaring big wars, we see that Overlord Bizar is attacking King Montano, the Shadow of Bulgaria, in a holy war for the entire kingdom of Bulgaria. That is going to be super big. Bizar's, after this, is going to be the absolute strongest person in our kingdom. I don't know how Bizar can... I thought that he had to be at least a title. Maybe he's allowed to declare this, but this is a heckin' big war. We've given Bizar a lot of resources, including very recently passing this off to him, this mining settlement, with the understanding that I think that we want more of the unique buildings here in Baghdad instead. And so eventually we're going to be back down to a domain of 5 once we manage to figure things out. But really seeing Bizar coming in kind of strong here. And once he has, this entirety... Once he has 2 kingdoms, he's maybe a little bit too strong. But I don't know exactly what our solution to this is. I think he's not even on our council. We could probably swap him over for court chaplain. I don't know why he can't be on our wait. He would be pretty good at this. Why is he not... Is he somehow not considered to be a powerful guy, or is he not considered to be powerful because we have a strong hook on him? In any case, I thought that this level of expansion, I think this is the first time we've seen a kingdom war get declared. We've been wanting Hannibal to do something like this for a while, but maybe Hannibal just doesn't have enough resources. To be honest, he should be pretty strong here, because he not only controls this stuff in Africa, but we've also given him a little bit over here. To be fair, he expanded into this, border up a little bit. He is kind of the overlord here. And I think what we're going to do, or what we're currently doing is being adjacent helps for declaring the wars. I think the AI is a little bit more spiky on this, and so we're going to give Artemis this duchy here, and then we're going to give Menelea some of the land above it, and so some of our stronger people, so this is going to be Artemis here, will now have opportunities to expand, whereas before they're kind of island locked. So we see Menelea here. Maybe he can expand a little bit better. To be fair, we also gave him this territory bordering Persia in case he wanted to rumble over there. But we're thinking that we slowly begin pushing because Moskva is somewhere up here, but there is a province we need to take somewhere in this area in order to fulfill the Primordial Sin Dragon, and this is the most out of the way territory here that we have to end up taking. So I figure we'll just start pushing our way up here, taking a few duchies, getting some adjacencies, and giving some territory to some of our stronger guys so that they have opportunities to expand adjacently, kind of either east or west of this line. We're going to snake up towards Moskva. So we make an important development regarding Camilla, who has been our rival that has been escaping our grasp for some time now, which is we get the abduct scheme, and I think that this one will be solid enough for us to be able to maybe abduct him instead of trying to just turn him into a wraith outright. This vengeance has been a long time coming. He destroyed Carthage, thousands of years ago. Greatest geopolitical disaster of the last 2.5 millennia. We're in the wrong timeline, but that being said, I think we're going to move into, so we have two options here. We can either come back to this focus here and try and finish Architect, or try and go to where's the one that gives you Divided Attention is kind of the one we want, where it gives +1 domain limit. This is particularly strong because domain limit in this mod is very, very difficult to come by, and the monthly income would be okay. Or we could go lore and push for Hand of Faith, which is, I don't know exactly what penalty we might be kind of achieving here, but if it's undoing any amount of penalty, I'm not sure what this is. So if we have a collection of penalties, does this just undo these penalties? I'm pretty sure we have some sorts of penalties: Frozen Grease, Wrathful, Irritable, to all of our stats. So this might represent an enormous uptick in our stats. Actually, I guess we don't have too many penalties. Most of our penalties are in Diplo. We have around 5 penalties in Diplo, and so maybe it would just be more worth kind of moving along on this. Here's how the legend is coming. It's coming along quite nicely, but we do want to change our focus. I think that, you know what, for the sake of being more oriented with the mod, I think we'll work on lore, at least for a while. I think we'll choose the Renown. We could choose Learning per level of Devotion. That'd probably be pretty solid, but we'll choose the Renown. Also, on the Renown front, when it comes to our house, our great house, where we have our legacies, we did pick up Mostly Fair, looking to kind of do the law pathway. Popular opinion, I thought, was a decently strong, modifier. Maybe let the revs stop happening so much, and then kind of cruising on over, eventually getting to the +1 domain limit was mainly what we were interested in here. Maybe it's a mistake to go for law, but I think it's good enough, so this is the next path we'll be on. So To Hurt has imploded, which hopefully leaves it to be soft pickings for the likes of this guy. It looks like this guy's already expanded, and it looks like he's attacking To Hurt some more. These guys are allied, that makes sense, and one of these guys is actually maybe going to usurp the kingdom of To Hurt. That would be quite interesting. I think Dear Lady Sybil, actually both these guys seem pretty solid. We wouldn't mind if either of them usurped To Hurt, although it would be a little bit, giving up Prowess 56 Knight on our front would maybe feel a little bit bad. But with the kingdom of To Hurt, with people like Duchess Zama, Scion of Carthage, helping out the kingdom of To Hurt if they usurp, this would maybe be a situation where this will be good enough for these guys. I wonder what this war is exactly, and so let's see what it's for. It is for the Duchy of Macabre, fair enough. And so that is kind of thing one. These guys imploded as well, not too much left of them. And Armenia is also imploding. So we've taken some shots at some guys, and now they are slim pickings for our subjects to go after. It feels like we are waiting on a truce to be up with this guy, so that we can continue to push north towards our goal here. But it is, and also here, we're kind of coming along in terms of handing out some of these territories. We did hand out to Lady Mary the Black, Euphrates, some territory. She does have her own journal entry. We're not going to cruise through it too much, but she has very high intrigue, some decent stewardship. These guys are getting +5, for in all their stats as a result of being a part of our Infernal Pact. We have the Duchess Lady Tabitha. I think we might have already pointed her out. Very nice stats. She's kind of in the north here. We've also handed out to this one. This guy overall is kind of the weakest guy that we have going around, kicking around. Almost certainly will not be well, he might be a duke. He needs to get Tib to be a duke, but okay. This guy gave us an item Pretty solid, very high prowess. Maybe he can push south, kind of doubt it. And then we have Basara here, who overall is not the strongest, at least in the prowess front. She was a artificer for us initially, you know, a great person that appeared kind of on the like historical great people, but we have just this kind of like little bit of stuff to hand out. We're gonna keep Baghdad, and also, oh, did we accidentally give out the wrong territory? No, we didn't. Okay, we're gonna keep Baghdad and also the county of Kufa here for their unique buildings in particular. And other than that, we still need to hand out another 4 here. And then we have, if it's just the 4 here, we must have some things kicking around that we need to hand out. In fact, we can grant this. This is a city holding. We can grant this to someone with our culture. That's fine enough because we're not going to want to give up the thing. And then we actually have a couple things unaccounted for that we need to track down, but we've almost kind of gotten down on the domain limits. Now, of course, vassal opinion, domain levies, domain taxes, all these are pretty nasty modifiers, but for the sake of theminess and having really capable people, we're enduring some of this. I don't think we pointed her out. She's someone we picked up. She has really high prowess. We just put her in here. We're not planning on giving her a duchess kind of appointment. We're just kind of having her nearby a duchy that we don't think we're going to hand out for the purposes of giving us a really nice high prowess knight. Alright, so finally, after torturing many a prisoner, we can get the very final sort of trait here. We now have a torment level of 10, which gives us an overall stat boost of +5 prowess, 10% extra stress, max hostile schemes +1. Overall, not the absolute most stellar bonuses we can get, but our torment just constantly decreases, and we are at a spot though where with that last bit of torment we can get the ultimate horror trait, which is going to give us +0.25 dread a month, 50% dread, natural dread +15. Now our natural dread should be, I think, over 80 even. Our natural dread is 89. This is what we're going to trend towards, very close to 100 at this point, you know, is quite strong. So this is going to be pretty nice, and that does completely fill out this tree. There's nothing on this tree that we haven't gotten. Some of the things require a little bit more torment, but we have gotten absolutely everything in this tree that there is to get. We're just kind of clicking over it to like double confirm, but we've gotten everything here. Oh wait, just kidding. We didn't get invisibility. The one we missed was the invisibility naturally. I don't think we're going to be activating invisibility. I think that the shapeshift in general that we're kind of interested in is the one that we've been using. But I suppose we could take a look. We could see our incorporeal or our invisible form. We would gain invisible form, which gives us intrigue per level of devotion. Intrigue per level of devotion? Oh, Jesus. Actually, that's something. I mean, it makes our diplomatic schemes a lot worse, but if we're actually doing hostile schemes, that's actually intense. That's pretty gnarly. That's going to be like a lot of intrigue. That'll put us up into the 30s or whatever. We might need that something like that in order to get fight Camilla or this type of thing. The angelic apocalyptic form, though, I think really the diplo scheme power plus the diplomacy is pretty strong. And so despite the fact that we can do some of these other ones, we have been stuck in on and engaging in the other one for the most part. Purchase Arsenal of the Beast. What does this even mean? Anyways. So that is going to be the very last one for us. With the other remaining ones, we have been doing this Twist Fate decision that we can unlock where we can use our Arcana perks to get gold, and this is how we're staying afloat even though we're paying a ton for promoting our own legend here. It's coming along quite nicely. Maybe we're not supposed to promote it, and we're just supposed to let it naturally spread, but we want to promote it. We reestablished Babylon. We owe it to ourselves. We're treating ourselves, as it were. Uh-oh, we enter the Age of Inquisition. The date is 1430, so we've been kind of going for a while now. It's been 200 years since the start of the game. Worrying reports have come to your attention. The so-called Shadow Inquisition seems to have had enough of the Shadow Parts title. They are suddenly gathering support amongst mortals, rulers, institutions, which has caused ripple effects across the world. This move has been planned for decades, perhaps centuries, and all of their attacks so far have been mere containment missions and information-gathering expeditions. The real extent of the conspiracy targeting vampires, and by extension us, might be way bigger than you ever anticipated. Everywhere, mortals are arming themselves behind gifted hunters determined to bring down the monsters of the night like us that have been plaguing them for so long. Retribution is coming. So now we're going to get a bunch of events. We're going to get really big hunters coming through, and so I think that we're pretty well set to rumble, but we might have to, kind of rake back the money rather than promoting our legend and actually try and do useful things. But at the same time, we're also expanding up here, and the whole point of this is that we want to continue to push towards the long-term goal of Moskva over up there. Are we really going to take all that damage? Man, it doesn't matter too much, but we do want to... Why is there every single one of these is just a you take damage thing? Okay, well, we'll continue to push, we'll resolve this war, and we'll see for ourselves just what an Inquisition looks like. We shall offer vassalage to the Demon of Lust up here, which we will now expand, and now we kind of have the 3 of the 7 sins after these guys join, which they will, because they truly believe in the cause that we are, putting forth, despite the start of this, ruinous Inquisition, which we have yet to feel the effects of in their entirety. We do see Macabre in here, so I guess the war over here was not successful, and also the war that was put forth by our dear boyo Bizarre was also not successful, which was a little bit unfortunate. Looks like this guy is defending against King... Okay. Defending against this guy, who's not our guy, so... and there aren't any wars over here, or there aren't too many wars over here, but it looks like there's some occupation going. A little bit of discord, going on throughout the world. We're going to take a look and see if there are any other sins that we can maybe convert to our side, much like we did this gentleman here. But he's going to be, a strong bastion up in the north that will allow us to expand. In fact, we could even start pushing southward using this guy's territory now, so that's going to be pretty nice. Why don't we read his character lore, because I don't think we've done it. Bezariel was one of the Namatar, an angel of death. After the fall, he quickly became embittered with the task of reaping mortal souls and attempted to make himself look as appealing as possible to his hapless charges. But no matter how innocent a face he constructed, he could not ease the fear and pain upon his death. As the war wore on, Bezariel fought against the host with bitter determination, the host being God. He wanted humanity to love and trust him as the Abelites had trust the loyalist angels, and yet for all their dread prowess in battle and skill in opening gateways to the outer realms, Halaku were cast into the abyss like all the other rebels, Bezariel amongst them. Millennia later, he was finally summoned by a careless infernalist, super careless, but this pawn served a much greater mistress. Bezariel found himself pressed into service by an undying creature of such surpassing evil that the demon nearly paled in comparison. This witch, called Baba Yaga in human legend, mumbled her ill-conceived plans to the fallen angel. In doing so, he found himself bound to the hag, sustained by her raw power and relying on her to not go screaming back into the abyss. Baba Yaga is an extremely strong character in this lore, certainly stronger with this guy. And so Bezariel is playing the Lord General part. As an angel of fate and death, he knows that destiny will one day catch up on the Iron Hag, and he intends to be ready to fight for that. In the future canon, with Baba Yaga's destruction in 1999, Bezariel will be free if suddenly powerless. Creating his own cult and power blaze in the ashes of Russia, fate will seem to be on the Blood Angel's side. And so this is the gentleman with whom we have gotten a conversion. So I wonder what... You know what we can do is we could search by these faiths. So we have now lust, which was what he was. We have pride, which is what she was. And so now we just need to search for the other sins. And let's get going. So we find 2 gluttons in all the earth. We invited both of them to our realm, and both accepted. I believe that this gentleman here is a playable character at game start. He seems to have lost his land. He is one of the demons that is actually tied down to the earth. Summoned a millennia ago and bounded to a statue of wet, slimy sandstone, Orobus and his cult was destroyed and his reliquary lost. It was around 1210, and that was that a too inquisitive. Speaking of Inquisition, while Denzian scholar, after reading ancient church documents about an abhorrent sect, discovered the demon's reliquary buried in the German bog. His subsequent descent into madness was the trickle of warped faith that the demon needed to return to his unnatural life once more. So he is bound in the sandstone. Just like to kind of clarify that. That's an interesting thing for the lore mechanic. When the demons were escaping from hell, they could not take their angelic forms, and instead they needed to either find a host or a location to bind themselves to, because the human world or the more modern world resisted him. Classified as the demon of gluttony, Orobus focused on physical pleasures, but his purview also contains small animals' poison, body wastes, and hunters. His cult, Luciferians, hid it among the villages of Germany. The cult preaches nothing more than a complex supremacy of the flesh and the right of its members to indulge every gross, sickening desire. It started as the group of Waldensians, a heretical Christian movement similar to the Cathars of France, but Orobus's influence dragged them into degeneracy and madness over the course of the last 2 decades. Orobus intends to use them to draw the Inquisition to him, letting them be wiped out for the chance to corrupt some inquisitors and carry his influence into the church. This gentleman, I think, is going to be a relative of his or something. Okay, pioneer of leadership, alpha wolf, strongest ape. Very, very nice for him. I think he is a little bit of a lesser guy, but if we take a look at the stat line, yeah, he is a little bit of a lesser guy, so we won't focus him on too much. I'll just scroll through it a little bit slowly in case you wanted to pause and take a little bit of a read. I guess we gotta do this, and so that you can see this if you want, but we will move on and find more demons to invite and convert to our side. So all the envious characters are in the Far East, and none of them we can invite. There don't seem to be agreed religion, or all of them have been destroyed, but we do find just a smattering of sloth characters here, and the main one being these 2 gentlemen. This guy is not invitable. He's the Grand Marquis of Hell. I wonder if he's still trapped in Hell. Decarbia refers to himself as the Grand Marquis of Christian Hell, though he is undoubtedly more venerable than that faith. The demon claims to lead legions of diabolic minions and had to understand the sex and poisons and alchemy. He mastered the ability to shapeshift form between humanoid, a flock of birds, and a pentagram tattoo on the skin of a summoner. When appearing as a humanoid, Marquis' brown skin radiates like a sick green mist. He stands tall and broad, doesn't look that broad, like a woodsman hefting his great bloody axe over his shoulder. Across the face, Marquis wears a bone visor comprised of the fingers of a dozen children. A dozen will do. He speaks with a rich accent, fluent in every language, and is happy to converse about every subject. He's 2,000 years old. According to the Marquis, he escaped the labyrinth in which 1,000 of his kind are held. The veracity of this claim is hotly disputed. And researched by infernalists, many of whom have been led to hell by the Marquis in search of his peers. No infernalists who accompany the demon return to the world of the living. So he is currently in torpor, though. I don't think we can find his hiding place because he's in the Trapped in the Abyss torpor. But this guy we can invite, and we did, and he will be coming on over. We'll put a pin in him because we'll probably want to give him some land eventually. But a former angel of starlight and firmament, Nikanaru, was for all intents and purposes a reliable but fairly minor tool in God's grand scheme of things. Content in watching the stars following the grand design, he joined Lucifer's rebellion out of sheer curiosity from a strange change of the patterns, and like all the other rebels, he fell from grace, thrown into the abyssal prison almost as an afterthought. He escaped only quite recently, finding himself bound to an unassuming castle in Transylvania, so he also gets bound to the location. Hundora, without anyone to worship him and provide him with so much needed faith, he knows that the abyssal prison will soon pull him back, however, and he will once again fall once again so far from his beloved stars, and he will once again be okay. And then in the future canon, he will strike gold when a coterie of ancient, powerful vampires will make a bargain with him. Gullible and desperate, he will bind them to his castle and use their faith in his powers, fairly minor, all things considered, to sustain his continued existence. And with that pact, he will be born, and Nikanururu will keep watching the stars until the day of judgment. Aw, homeboy likes his stars. Well, we'll put him to work. He is earthbound, so he is bound to a particular location, I think. Contain reliquaries while few manage them to possess a location. And so this is kind of the next few. I think we have one more sin we need to check, and after that we've gone through all of them. So we have managed to invite everyone of pride, greed, wrath, gluttony, lust, and sloth. Envy, again, is over here, so we cannot invite any of them to join our realm. And so seeing as we have established kind of a sect of all of the 7 Deadlies, and we need to fight this new Inquisition, which is starting to come out into the open and persecute vampires and all the such, and all manners of beasties like ourselves. I think we will find a new religion called the 7 Deadlies. We have made several changes here. First of all, we've gone from fundamentalist to righteous. We've gone from being just wrath to being all 7, and so I thought a little bit more flexibility would be appropriate. We will, of course, be the head of faith ourselves. We swapped pilgrimage from forbidden to encouraged. We have swapped 2 of our tenets here. We swapped from the war-oriented one to exalted ideals, looking to fully, push forth our collective powers and prowess and knowledge above all, which I don't think is too useful one, but I think that with all of them pooling together, the idea of collecting the knowledge required, or the knowledge of their escape from hell and all this type of stuff, this collective makes a lot of sense. And then when we were taking a look at the fates, Advocus Diaboli, which we might not even be able to remove, this was the only tenet that was present in all of the 7 Deadlies, and so we made sure to keep this one in, and so this is kind of what we did. Scrolling down, we added legitimization on bastardry, although I don't know if it's going to come up, and we are accepting everything. We're going to be out in the open. We're going to let the, let's click this. We're going to let the, Inquisition come to us. We are going to hide nothing. And so crime doctrines, we're accepting everything. Supernatural tolerance, we moved to accepting infernalism. Infernalism was accepted before. But we are banding together with all of, the supernatural beasties to provide a haven for them against the Inquisition, which included accepting all of these shapeshifters. Now, before these were all criminal, now they're all accepted, as well as all of the clan tolerances here. We used to persecute all these guys. I think this will make it easier for us to convert vampires. The vampires need a place to stay with the Inquisition, and we will provide that. These ones we had to be ignorant and frenzy and all this type of stuff. This does apply mostly to vampires, but we did accept mass ghouling. And then from the clerical function, we switched from, I think, recruitment to control, because we still want to maintain control over the entire faith, even though we are operating from our original position of wrath. And then for funerary tradition, I was thinking that we do cremation, but we've done a little bit too much burning in the fire. Nobody's into that of the escaped demons, and so I think we're going to just stick with this, and I think this will be our new faith. We cannot change faith after this, so hopefully this won't brick too much of our war declaring abilities. If it does, we'll start having to declare wars in a little bit more of a slow manner, but I think that the exalted ideals and knowledge above all will be pretty good. When we look at our sins and virtues, it's a pretty nice lineup of stuff where we have most of the 7 deadly sins as they are portrayed in Crusader Kings in here, as well as most of the nice looking traits all being virtues. Lust, there's 1. Gluttony, 2. Greed, 3. Diligent, not 1. So sloth, it's the reverse of sloth, right? So it would be better if sloth was over here. Wrathfulness, 4. Arrogant, pride, 5. And then ambitious and vengeful. Vengeful's not really a sin. Sloth and or envy and greed are kind of somewhat similar. I don't think we have envy in here, but forgiving, nope, not about that. Arbitrary or humble, nope, not about that. Calm, nope. And so I think that we managed to get a pretty nice also kind of lineup in terms of our virtues, having almost every single sin as a virtue kind of as best we can. So this will be nice, and we will create the faith. The belief of the 7 deadlies can never be changed once it's been created, that's true. And we will convert. We've lost the patronage of our holy order, oh no, and we do need to appoint a new court chaplain. I think that we're just going to appoint her. Change the chapter. Alright, that's fair. So let's see how our legend changed. Okay. Some player errors, a bunch of stuff changes. We will also demand mass conversion of everyone. Everyone must convert. Blessed be sin. A lot of people do convert. Oh my god, this is going to be a lot of clicking. Alright, well, I'll not subject you guys to the clicking. It looks like our abduction plan on Camilla is ended. Now, even if we succeed here, we are not going to end up executing him at this juncture, but we're going to say we like the sound of that plan. I hope he likes his new headquarters. And then, well, you are trying to imprison Camilla, but he dares to resist you. What will we do? I think we will just rip him apart. Obviously. And so 85% chance to defeat him in personal combat. Obviously we succeed here. Definitely no kind of other potential. This guy gains Wrathful, which is going to be nice. This will allow us to convert him to corruption, but we have gotten Camilla as a prisoner, so we can do with him what we will. But I think we're going to conclude the episode here. Oh, we're so close to winning this war, actually. Let's enforce this war. But I think we're going to conclude this episode here. This episode, we have managed to convert to the 7 deadlies. Now, I know it says wrath all over the place, but we're still trying to convert everything, and we have sinful as our adjective here, which will be good, which will be nice, and we have kind of unified all of the demons that are based on individual sins into our own banner of the 7 deadlies. And so this is kind of what we've done in opposition to the founding of the Inquisition. We have just put our banner in the ground. We've said we accept all of the beasties. Wait, I guess we misclicked. Except Goral and Korax, not those two. I guess we misclicked a little bit there. That is unfortunate. But other than that, we accept all the beasties, certainly all the vampires. So it's going to be easier for us to get them on our side with this sort of thing. Yeah, we also captured Camilla. We will do with him what we will next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algo thing, and have a good day.